Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to model this wrench or spanner in Blender. This is good for practice and a nice way to improve your modeling skills. So let's take a look at how we can create this model. So without wasting any time, let's jump right in. First, I'll just add the reference image here. Right now it has a bit of rotation, so press Alt-R to clear the rotation. That will lay the image flat, which makes it easier to work with. Then press Shift-S and choose Selection to Cursor, so the image moves right to the 3D cursor in the center of the scene. Now over here, change the depth to front, then turn on opacity and reduce it to about half, so we can still see the reference but also see the geometry clearly. The image is still not perfectly centered, so let's move it slightly and align it nicely in the middle. All right, now let's add a plane, then scale the plane so it fits over this part of the shape. Now in the center, add a loop cut to divide both sides, then select this edge and move it all the way over here where the curve starts to expand. Here I'm going to rotate the reference image slightly, just to line it up a bit better with the view. Now extrude this edge out until about here, add a cut in the middle, move this vertex to this point where this part extrudes out. Do the same thing on the other side. Next, on both sides, add a loop cut. Now we have a few more vertices so we can move them and shape the curve more nicely. Then select this edge and move it slightly downward so we have more space to add loops in this area. Now select these vertices and move them so they line up with the border line of the wrench. Adjust it so this part is perfectly done. Next, duplicate this vertex, move it, and place it right on this point. Now if you notice, this part of the reference is not perfectly aligned straight with the view. It's actually rotated slightly, as you can see. So to make it easier to work, while in top view, press numpad 4 to rotate the view slightly until it aligns straight with the view. And now the shape lines up nicely with the screen. Now go over here and change the transform orientation from global to view. Now, with view enabled, we can extrude this straight according to the screen in the y-axis, as you can see here. Instead of global, where it would extrude along the world axis and go off at an angle, we can now move it perfectly aligned to our view and get this done nicely. Now let's extrude this edge straight out, lining it up with this line. Now extrude this vertex all the way to the center, then extrude it to the corner and then straight up. Now just adjust this vertex so it lines up nicely. Next, select these corner vertices and vertex bevel them by pressing Ctrl-Shift-B to round the corners. Then select this middle vertex and vertex bevel it as well to curve this part nicely. Now select the full edge and extrude it out a bit. Next, select this vertex and snap merge it here. Make sure the snapping type is set to vertex here and turn on auto merge. Now move, snap, and merge each vertex one by one. These vertices, move them along the side so they line up neatly with the edge border of the wrench. Add a subdivision surface modifier. This will smooth the shape, making it easier to adjust the vertices along the side nicely. Here, add 2 loop cuts on both sides. Then line up the vertices with the side. Here you can see it has not smoothed out perfectly, and something is wrong here. If we go over here and turn on face orientation, you can see some parts are red, which means the normals are not facing the right way. So press Shift-N to recalculate the normals, and now this is fixed. Now we can align these with the border. Here we can add a cut and then merge both of these vertices so this part stays sharp. Then select these vertices up to here and choose Loop Tools Space so these vertices are evenly distributed. Do the same thing on the other side and space them as well. Now in the middle, add a cut. Then select these vertices and slide them down slightly. After that, select these vertices and space them. Just fine-tune, tweak, and adjust this part so everything looks perfectly right. and this part is done. Now here, add a few loop cuts so everything stays even and there is no stretching. Now select this edge and move it all the way over here until about here, where the curve starts to expand. Then duplicate this edge and move it to this part. Scale it horizontally so it fits here. Then select these middle vertices, move them, and line them up with this curved part nicely. Once this edge is curved nicely, select both of these edges, then go over here and choose Bridge Edge Loops. Here on the left corner, add the number of cuts. Then change the interpolation type. Linear works well here because it keeps it flat and even. And here you can adjust the profile factor depending on how much curve is needed. You can also change the profile shape. I like to keep it inverse square, which works well. Then just adjust the curve nicely. Now over here, add a few loop cuts. All right, let's move down to the box end of the wrench. So here, we'll start by adding a circle. But before we add the circle, we need to figure out exactly how many vertices we need. The vertex count depends on the shape of this inner grooved area. If we look closely at the reference and count the curves, we can see there are exactly 24 sides in this pattern. So first, bring the 3D cursor to this point. Then add a circle and set it to 24 vertices. Now scale it down and adjust it until it fits the reference perfectly. Then extrude and scale it out until it reaches the outer border. Next, duplicate the middle circle edge, separate it by selection, and keep it aside for later to make that grooved area. Now going back to our main mesh, it's time to connect the head to the handle. Select these specific edges here and press F to fill the gap. This edge, we can slide it and merge it here. Now here we have two vertices, so what we can do is first select this outer edge, press W, and subdivide it 2 times. Then select these vertices and move, snap, and merge them with the subdivided vertices on the side here. On the other side also, do the same thing. And now this part is nicely done. Okay, now we'll model the inner grooved pattern. First, select the edge loop that we kept separate earlier. Press E to extrude it inward slightly, and then move it a bit down on the Z-axis to make a slight slope, then extrude inward again, and then move it further down to keep that slope going. Now here's the best way to create that pattern. Go to the Select menu and choose Checker Deselect. This will select every alternate vertex around the loop. If the selection is not right, just tweak the offset value until the correct vertices are selected. Now, if we scale this inward, you can see that we start to get the pattern, but it's still not perfect. The slope isn't straight enough and it doesn't really work properly. Even if we try to slide the vertices manually, we can't move them all in the same direction at once. So to fix this, go to the top and change the transform orientation from global to normal, and now we can do that properly and perfectly straight. All right, first, let's take a look at what normal does. So if we select this face and then extrude along the Z-axis, it extrudes in the direction the face is facing, not the global Z-axis. So basically, normal follows the direction each vertex, edge, or face is actually facing. That means when we move or extrude, it goes along the face direction instead of the world axis, no matter how the surface is oriented. While we're at it, let's also change the pivot point to individual origins so each vertex treats itself as its own center. Now, watch how much easier this is. Now press G to move and tap the axis key, in this case, Y. And now every single vertex is pushing inward perfectly straight along its own path. This gives us that pattern perfectly, nice and clean result. Now select this edge and bevel it just to keep it sharp. And here, set the profile shape to 1. Now if we activate the subdivision modifier, you can see we get that pattern nicely. Now just adjust the pattern slightly, tweak it a bit to get the curves clean and smooth. Okay, so now this part is done. Now here, let's move this part slightly up as seen in the reference. So select these faces somewhere here, and move them up slightly. Then select this edge and move it slightly down so this part becomes a slope. On the other side also, select these faces and move that part up slightly. And while moving, snap it with the other side so both sides stay equal. Now select the full mesh and extrude it down to give it thickness. Then press SZ-1 to flip the bottom part to the other side. Make sure it's set back to median point from individual origins, and then flip it. In the middle, just add a loop cut. Now you can see the mesh turns red where the normals are not right, so fix them by pressing Shift-N. And here as well, in the middle, add another loop cut. Now select this groove pattern mesh and move and snap it with this top part. Then select the full thing and extrude it down straight in the Z-axis, and then press SZ-1 to flip it. Now snap this properly with the bottom part. In the middle, add a cut. Now let's bevel all the sharp edges so they stay sharp. Before that, make sure you apply the scale so there are no issues while beveling. Then select any sharp edge, go over here, and choose Sharp Edges. This will select all the sharp edges quickly. You can manually select or deselect any edges that are not selected properly. Once everything is good, then bevel them. Now activate the subdivision modifier, and this is perfectly done. Also shade smooth the object. For this part also, select the sharp edges, and bevel them. And after that, shade smooth it. If this part is too sharp, we can select the edges and slide them slightly like this, so it becomes a bit softer. Do the same thing on the other side as well. And now this looks good. Here, this unnecessary edge has been beveled, so select these edges like this, slide them, and merge here. And now this is fine, and this is perfectly done. All right, that's it. We're done modeling this, and I hope you enjoyed it. This was a great piece to practice and improve your workflow. So if you found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, comment below and give your feedback. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.